Hello and welcome, boys and girls, to another cast by me, the Strict StarCraft. And today we're going to have another game from Reddit.com/r/casted in our hands. And it's once again going to be our Protoss player, Radiokopf. He wanted to submit another game and wanted some feedback on this as well. So, I thought I would help him out and cast another one of his games. So, as I said, in the bottom 6 o'clock position we have Radiokopf. Kopf? I don't know. I'm gonna stick with the Radiokopf, I think. And in the top left side, 10 o'clock position, we have our blue Terran player, Skipp. So it's going to be a PvT. And PvT, what do we see nowadays? Well, a lot of things basically. Colossus openings are very common still, but also High Templar openings with the Twilight Council and early 2-2 upgrades are still viable as well. But we're going to see Radiokopf going up with a 12 gate here, standard stuff in the beginning, and Skipp dropping a barracks at 12 as well. He's going to go for that gas at 12, so this is going to be a Reaper opening from Skipp. I'm pretty sure it's going to be. Yeah, that's most likely. Radiokopf dropping a Geyser at 14, quite standard as well. Double 15 Geyser is kind of the norm nowadays, but 14 gas is still very viable. It's not a big deal at all. Radiokopf dropping a Paladin at 15. A tad bit early, but doesn't matter. I should just leave the players to the openings. They know what to do. This is a gold level game, as was the other one as well. So there are quite a few things to improve. Of course, there are in every league, but hopefully I can help Radiokopf out. Cybercore going down. And still on one Geyser. Could go up to a second one at, now should be a good time at 19 and 20. I like to go for the double 15, but not a big deal. The Reaper is going to be on the way from Skipp, and the Reaper is mainly for scouting. As you can see, Skipp has not scouted anything, so he's going to be looking around at these. It's going to be scouting around for Radiokopf's spawning location, first of all, and then find out what tech Radiokopf is going for. Radiokopf, just a general tip, try to spread out your pylons a bit more. Gives you a bit more vision of your map, finds proxies a bit easier. But Radiokopf is going to be moving out right now with the probe and the zealot, just to scout out. But Reaper is going to find Radiokopf before he can find the Terran player. And if we see Skipp moving in, the Stalker is about to pop though, so this should be no problem to deal with. No Mudship Core on the way though, so the Stalker is going to have to run around quite a bit. If this Reaper's, no, the Reaper's just going to get out of here immediately. And Radiokopf, one Zealot going up to the top right side, while his probe is going to the top left side, and the probe is going to find Skipp very soon. We see a command center on the way for our Terran player and the factory as well. He might go into some Hellions. This is not standard, but it can definitely be done versus Protoss. It can deal a lot of damage as well. Marines popping just now. And it might go for Widow Mines. Oh, it's probably going to be a Widow Mine drop now that I think about it. But no Starport. Okay, the factory hasn't been completed. So no Starport quite yet, but it might be a Widow Mine drop. Those are quite standard nowadays. The Nexus is a tad bit later than the Terran's command center. But he's going to have to fly it down as well. So it's going to take some time. They're going to be done at about the same time. And mining will start at the same time. So we see the Robo going down for Radiokopf right now, and a couple more gateways, 2 to be precise, and another pylon. But he's chrono boosting out Warp Gate, and I'm not too sure why he's doing this. It's on one gateway still, so he cannot really apply any pressure to the Terran player. So this is quite not necessary. And it's a strange walling going in here with the pylons. I don't like this building positioning, but I guess that's a preference, personal preference. As long as Radiokopf is happy with this building positioning, then I suppose he can go for whatever he wants. But now 3 gateways going down, a forge as well. Should be dropping the robotics bay as soon as the robotics facility finishes, because Immortals are quite useless versus Terran, with Stim Bio dealing quite a lot of damage. And you really need a lot of splash damage to deal with Stim Bio. 2 Geysers going up right here, not that important timing really, just dropping once you feel like it. And if he's going up to Robotics Bay, which he isn't, he might not need that gas this early, but no big deal. Pylon going down, I like this, spreading out your pylons, as I said earlier, to get some vision over your base. Always good. But no Widow Mine drops, we're done. The factory is now building its own reactor, and the starport is going down as well. So quite standard opening from the Terran player, with 3 barracks, factory, and a starport. The bases are just now being established by both players, and we can see that the Terran player is ahead due to these 2 mules. But as a Protoss player, you really want to be quite far ahead in the worker count compared to the Terran, since the Terran has got mules. And as you can see, Radiokopf, you should try to get out a couple of more probes and chrono boost your next side a bit more than you currently are. Robotics Bay going down, that is very good. I would like for it to be dropped even a tad bit earlier, right as the Robo is finishing. But as long as you get it down at a decent timing, no big deal. And also try to get your armor upgrade before your weapons upgrade. It's good for the Zealots versus the Marines. The Marines deal so little damage. The damage is basically none when you get armor upgrades, so that's a good thing, but nothing major still. Radiokopf is now falling up behind in the supply, and as I said earlier, you should really be ahead in the income, and no, not in the income, in the harvest account right now. So Radiokopf, try to focus on building more probes, because you are going to end up behind in income if you are even with the Terran player. As you can see here, mules are doing him quite the favor. But Radiokopf is still in a decent position. If he gets a couple of Colossi out, we see no Vikings coming out from the Terran player. So there's going to be no direct counter to these Colossi, except for these tanks perhaps. Tanks are, they're good versus Colossi, but not super good. You have that long range of 13 that can oh shit, that Reaper got out. That can outrange the range of 9 from the Colossus. But 2 Marauder production and 2 Marines, so it's going to be a Marauder heavy composition, and this is so annoying to deal with. I feel like as a Protoss player, they wreck your Colossi completely, and they also deal a lot of damage to all your units basically. Twilight Council going down this, I don't know, Radiokopf, why are you dropping so many cannons? I suppose it's to hold off drops, but that's a lot of minerals invested into cannons. 450 minerals right here, and these pylons, yeah, you still have to build them, so no big investment right there. But try to perhaps drop a cannon right here on one of your mineral line, and then keep your army quite close to your base, so you can easily move in and defend your buildings rather. And you also have your Mothership core in your main base, so you can easily drop a photon overcharge to deal with any kind of drop. So I would recommend not going for this high amount of cannons. Alright, back to the game. Armor supply, get up a couple of sentries. Guardian Shield is extremely good versus Marines. As I said earlier, the armor upgrade is really good, and the Guardian Shield is basically the same thing. It gives you added armor. Now sees Radiokopf ending up even further behind in the supply and army supply count. And it all comes down to how much minerals you're mining. You see, you're spending your mineral quite decently right now, but if you were mining as much as the Terran player is, you would still be on par with them. So I'd say that's a big difference in the early game. To try to always stay ahead in workers. But upgrade wise, you're doing quite alright for yourself. +1/+1 has been finished, and +2 attack is on the way. And you're quite on par with the Terran player, even ahead a bit, so that's great. Thermal Lance is on the way. Templar Archives, this might be a bit too early. You can't really afford these Templar Archives this early. Want to focus on Colossi first, or Templars first. It depends on what you choose, what your own preference is. So try to get one of the units out before the others, and then try to tech switch around, forcing Vikings early with your Colossi, and then switching into High Templars. That's basically how you want to play Protoss until you can get both of them out at the same time, and you need at least 3 to 4 bases to do that. Now Skipp is moving out with quite a large army, and these tanks are great. I feel like they're so annoying to deal with. If he sieges up, he can deal a lot of damage to the clumped up Protoss Death Ball. We'll see how this engagement goes. Storm is more than halfway done. So are there any High Templars out on the map? I don't think there are units. Nope, there is not. Let me see 3 High Templars coming in right now. Oh, this is not going well. The Stim Bio is dealing a lot of damage, but it's quite clumped up, so the Colossus was able to deal a lot of damage until it fell. So not a great engagement by Skipp, to be honest. He just ran up that ramp double stimmed, I think, and dealt a lot of damage to his own units. But Skipp is now going to get a Contage going on with the tank, but the Archon is finishing dealing a lot of damage. Of course, it deals additional damage to biological units. And yes, this is finally going to get cleaned up by Radiokopf. So that was an engagement Radiokopf should not have won. Basically, he was far behind in armor supply. But a bit of fail from Skipp allowed him to win that. And as you can see now, Radiokopf, spend your minerals, and you also have too little gas. If you get High Templars up, you want to get a lot of Zealots, because High Templars are really gas heavy. I think there are 75 and 150, so 150 gas per High Templar. That's going to leave you with a lot of minerals, so try to focus on charge slots while building High Templars, because that's really all you can afford. And once again, try to get a lot more probes out. You're at 18 probes here and 22 probes here, so perhaps you want to transfer some over to your third base. Now see wave 2 coming in from Skipp, and this could be a lethal push. He's already got to +2 attack finished, +3 on the way, and +1 armor is done as well. But this is Radiokopf's, this is all he's got basically. If we look at the income right now, we can see that the Protoss player is actually ahead, but he should have been that quite a while ago. The Terran has already gained enough, and as we all know, the Terran is the strongest in the mid game. Before the Colossus Death Ball is up. And as I said earlier, sentries are great for Guardian Shield, but not only for Guardian Shield, also for force fields at your ramp. You could have cut off the Terran army and then let your Colossus work from the back safe. So try to get sentries up, they're even better than you think. The Guardian Shield is quite crucial. So yeah, right now, if Radiokopf is given time, he might be able to stabilize. And as you can see now, you're warping in a lot of charge slots, because that's basically all you can afford. Charge is just being started right now, so that's a bit late. But with a proper chrono boosting, you might be able to get that out in time. Colossus being chrono boosted, and I like the way you chrono boost a lot. That is very good. As you can see, you have quite low energy on all your Nexi. Very great to see. Because chrono boost actually gives you a lot. You don't even think about it, but it's actually huge what chrono boost gives you. So that is great. You want to keep all your Nexi hotkeyed, and I hope you do really. And now as you can see, you're getting mined out in your main base. Try to transfer these over to your third base, and it will boost your income heavily. But as we can see now, the Terran player is starting to drop mules at its third base, and is more than doubling your income, Radiokopf. So try to get up your third base with a lot of mining going on. 5 pilings being dropped here. I'm not too sure about this position. It would be better to drop like a pylon here, perhaps one here, to get some map control as well. I hate being locked in with no map control. It's really a containing feeling, and I don't like that, especially not versus Terran. I think I can control the map very easily with the mobile bio. But you're doing great on upgrades, and having 3-3 at the 20-minute mark is very good actually. I also get my upgrades, so I'm very envious of you. Oh shit, no, that's not how you want to do it. Oh, Radiokopf, you got some great storms off, but that's not how you want to engage into a Terran army. You want to preferably attack into a choke point, and that was not good. You had a chance, you definitely did. You had a great composition with High Templars and charge slots, but yeah, unfortunately you lost that engagement. But now we see charge slots coming in, getting into decent position here. All your charge slots get quite good surface area. The Marauders and Marines quite easily take down your Colossi. And what is this? You want to A move. You don't want to focus down specific units. Just A move your zealots in, and they will deal. They will do it. They will deal with the Terran army the best way they can. That's how I want to say it. But Skipp is now 40 supply ahead, and this doesn't look too great. Radiokopf, you're trying to warp in shot slots, but you could have won that battle, I'm pretty sure. That was just an unfortunate engagement angle for you. I think it was hidden behind this steam here, and you couldn't quite... Yeah, it had an observer in place, I think. So, if that's what happened, I understand you. Didn't know he was there. But trying to get some better engagement angles. So yeah, now it's doubling, more than doubling your supply. I think this game is pretty much over right now. There we go, GG is being dropped. Okay, Radiokopf, some feedback. Try to get more probes out. And the map control, I understand that with no map control, it's very scary to build a lot of probes in the early game. But try to just chrono boost. I switch between my bases by pressing space. And that makes it really easy to chrono boost between them. So I press space, chrono boost, chrono boost, chrono boost. I press space between every chrono boost, and I can easily chrono boost all my next eye and get a lot of probes early. So do something like that. Try to get out a lot of probes versus Terran because they have mules. And to stay even on mineral income, you're going to have to spend a lot on your probes. And try to get some map control, perhaps with the Stalker. The Stalker is faster than any Terran unit. And it's going to be at least 6 or 7 minutes until it gets Stimpack out, and until then you can control the map with your Stalker easily. So yeah, that's kind of that. Build more units, that's basically my tip, and especially probes. Alright, well, do submit more, and bye bye.